Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Garblag Games. It's me, Dan, original Dan, and I'm going to be running a little-known old classic role-play game tonight called Deathwatch from Fantasy Flight Games. I am joined by the Warhammer Wednesday crew tonight, and we're going to be playing a bunch of Space Marines going around blowing shit up. This is 40k, so this can get a grim dark. So let's put a little bit of a violence and swearing warning at the beginning of this. Thank you, Pete. I'm sure we will in post. But let's get the ball rolling, introduce our characters, and just get the hell straight in there. Let's start with Other Dan.
Other Dan. Tonight, viewers, as Other Dan, I will be playing Azazel Malik. He is a Dark Angel, so secrets. He is a tactical Marine. He previously served in the Dark Angels chapter with the Stern Guard veterans and then served with the Raven Wing. He did want to be a Raven Wing veteran, but sadly did not get the agility score he required to be a Raven Wing veteran. So he's a tactical Marine. So he's mostly concentrated on his bolt gun and command abilities, and because he's a Dark Angel, paranoia and interrogation as well, just in case, it comes up. And otherwise, he's just got a lot of different types of bullets for his gun.
Okay, moving on to Rog.
Hi, I'm Roger, and I'm playing Ferris Calais, the Iron Hand Devastator. He served his chapter in a tactical squad as a Devastator and served very well, hence he got yoinked by the Deathwatch because they thought he'd be useful. He's got a bionic arm, as like all Iron Hands, he believes the flesh is weak.
And finally...
Well, my friends, I am Raziel Rust. You can see by my pauldron I am one of the Blood Angels. And I am a servant of our great God Emperor. I was at the scouring of Ultramar, and as I walk through, chain, sword, and storm shield armed, you can hear the furious groaning and growling of my armor as it thirsts for battle.
I absolutely love it. So if you haven't noticed, for those 40k fans out there who know a little bit of lore, we have ourselves all first founding chapters. That's an interesting twist and completely and utterly unplanned, I might add. So yeah, that's going to be fun. I wonder if that will impact on the story. So a little bit about what we're going to be doing. Actually, let's find out and just jump straight in there. Why don't we? Okay, so our Deathwatch Marines have been summoned to a distant outpost on the borders of deep space, somewhere near the Badab sector. This watchtower is built into it's a rock fortress built into a meteor. It's craggy, black, sharp rocks kind of build up and escalate into carved stone with integrated metal parts joining different sectors of the watchtower. There's, ramparts and anti-air guns and shield generators and signs of the symbols for the God Emperor and the Mechanicus who maintain some of the machinery. And you have been brought from other watchtowers of the Deathwatch, summoned here. It's understood that the Deathwatch are quite thin on the ground currently, and you have all heard of the now lengthy Imperial Civil War taking place just, shall we say, over the just on the other side of the interstellar barrier near the Maelstrom Zone is the Badab War, where brother fights brother, which is unheard of since the days of the Horus Heresy. That dark time for Space Marine and mankind alike. So you've been gathered at this watchtower, which has an original name called Black Rock, and here you are met by interestingly not a watch captain, because as I said, resources are quite thin on the ground. The station itself seems to be quite barren. There's not a lot of personnel here. It looks like it had been left for probably centuries, knowing the ways of the bureaucracy of the Imperium. There's dust. There's old servitors and servitor skulls that haven't been used. You can see imprints on the floor from the heavy booted metal of Space Marine power armor. Occasionally, you might see a serf or a priest of the Mechanicus going about their business, but it is very, very empty in these hallowed halls of an ancient time. Old banners line the walls. They are unkept and rotting. Stained glass windows. The metals on them are rusted, and the stained glass blackened with soot or battle damage. From the interior, you can see there have been places where there's been fire and it's been put out in the rock. The grey black rock is even blacker in some places, and it's got that kind of scorch mark of plasma weaponry or flamer damage. So it looks like there was a battle here long ago, and this facility may not have been used since. But now, as you march down the halls and your boots thud and create echoing noises across the station, this Black Rock watchtower is coming alive again in service to the Emperor and in service to the Deathwatch. Together, you enter a small room. In the middle of the room, it's carved out of the very bare rock. You must be at the center of this kind of asteroid. A lot of it looks chiseled out, though some of it looks like natural cave formation with sort of dark metallic pillars kind of holding up some of it in buttresses. The occasional servitor skull floats by with a beam of light, green light, kind of causing a haze of shadow across the blackness. In the center of the room is a holographic display table, empty and bare. Connected to it with wires and plugs and sockets are two servitors leaning over the table. They lay dormant with no movement. Dan, please describe your character.
Azazel Malik. Well, as you can imagine, he is in the deep dark green armor of the Dark Angels. Well, black obviously for the main part, but dark green pauldron. And he obviously has robes. So he has a robe. He has his helmet on, but he has a robe over his helmet and robes down his thing, as classically for Dark Angels would. He is huge, as you would expect, because he's a space marine. Very imposing when he stands there, but always kind of looks more sort of studious in the way he presents himself. He's not aggressive. He's not trying to intimidate. He's there, and he's always looking to assess the situation. You can see that he's already looking towards the table to see what the table's on the holographic right now, if there's anything worth us looking at. But yeah, and he's got his bolt gun, which is his own, and it's all geared up. You can see it's got some attachments and stuff to it. But yeah, big, angry, not angry, but slightly secretive as well. His eyes glow like a dim red on his eyes visors, and that's Azazel Malik.
And it was Azazel Malik.
Yeah. Yes.
And Raziel Rust.
Aye. Raziel is in his Deathwatch armor with his Blood Angel pauldron. As I said, he has a storm shield that he carries lovingly and a chain sword that you get the feeling it's an extension of his right arm. He moves with a fluid grace. He also has a bolter at his side, but you get the impression that he only draws that if there is no way that his jetpack can actually get him into the fray. If his helmet was off, you'd see a slight smile on his face and a twinkle in his eye, and he's known to be a bit of a gregarious space marine, razzing his fellow brothers from time to keep the morale up in service to the God Emperor.
Excellent. And finally, our Iron Hand. Sorry, Roger, what was the name of the character again?
Ferris Calais.
Ferris.
Yep, Ferris Calais. He was given his forename in honor of the Primarch.
I was wondering where you were going with that. Excellent. All right, Ferris. What does your character look like?
So Ferris Calais is very tall, even by Space Marine standards, a big hulking individual. It's why he was given the heavy weapon duty, as although all Space Marines are more than capable of carrying one, he could almost wield it like it was a bolter. He has pale skin, very short cropped dark hair, very serious look on his face. Doesn't really change his facial expression much. He's quite stony faced. He's got a scar across his cheek, clearly from some kind of laser weapon. But other than that, he is in his big hulking black armor, his big black pauldron, which is also his Iron Hands chapped color, with the big silver emblazoned proudly on it.
Excellent. Okay. Entering this room / cave, R2 is another Space Marine. His rank and insignia would indicate that he is a watch sergeant of the Deathwatch. He has his helmet off. He has a bald head, 2 metal studs in his forehead to indicate kind of, a veteran, a campaign veteran. His black armor is well polished and well looked after, no indications of any recent dents or anything, and he carries himself proudly, but also with an air of darkness behind his eyes. Accompanying him, oddly, is a human. His gaudy dress, long kind of black frock coat with gold trim and purple lining, some sort of Xenos weapon slung on his side, high swashly black boots, long blonde braided hair, and a sort of spiky small chin beard, well waxed, and a sort of cutlass at his side gives him the demeanor of a rogue trader captain, or definitely a ship's captain of some sort. Azazel, as a Dark Angel, you would recognize the pauldron of this as the of the chapter of the Disciples of Caliban.
Ooh, Disciples of Caliban. They're unforgiving even by Dark Angel standards, if I remember rightly.
Yeah. I believe they're second founding.
They are indeed a second founding of the Dark Angels. Azazel gives a curt nod in recognition of the fact that he's obviously well met, brother.
The sergeant nods back, and the human bows politely and makes the symbol of the Aquila in front of his chest. Though does have a little bit of a smirky smile, but he's also got no, you know what, he hasn't. So normally, if a human stands here amongst so many Space Marines, they'd either be cacking their pants or in awe. But this guy is standing like, this is the same old, you know? So there's some, you know, that's a very familiar awareness about him that perhaps he shouldn't have amongst such noble and servants of the Imperium and of the God Emperor. Right. My name is Watch Sergeant Gabriel. He clicks a couple of buttons on the holographic display in front of him. The two servitors begin to move. They have multiple arms that look like laser pointers. Holographic displays activate, and a green orb appears in the middle of the table. It's a galactic map indicating a set of coordinates and small amounts of data, indicating a small moon in a busy system marked as Watchtower Antioch. Galactic borders and fleet consistencies and strategic positions of troops can also be seen, as well as the border of the ill-reputed Maelstrom Zone, wherein lies Xenos, heretics, and other gnomic threats. It's almost like a mini Eye of Terror in a way. Marines, this is my brothers. Behold the Badab sector and the Maelstrom Zone. Here, and he points, and one of the servitor's arms moves, and it's kind of got a long finger, like a long metal finger with a laser dot on it, and it kind of points to location, and another series of information receives. And there's a profile appears. Let's make our first roll. Oh no. Right. Refer to rulebook. What can we use for this? Let's make oh wow, that's scrutiny rolls, please.
That's a fail.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not actually roll, apparently. Oh, I'll try this again.
We're not very good at scrutinizing something.
Yeah, I'm very bad at it, apparently.
How did you do, Ferris?
We all failed.
Ah, right. Okay, jolly good. So, appearing next to this Watchtower Antioch is two other pictures. One is of a human face. You failed your roll, and then kind of a larger picture of him, which he looks like an Inquisitor. You can tell he's an Inquisitor because, well, he's got that demeanor again about him, but he's wearing long black, kind of almost silk black robes, but with no other adornments, no symbolism, no mystical symbols, no runes, no imperial paraphernalia, nothing, just black robes, a staff with a imperial eagle, but with the Ordo Xenos symbol in the middle, and then you kind of got the Imperial wings coming out of it, and that's in the sort of brassy metal, and that is shod upon a black sort of wooden stick, you assume. This is Inquisitor tracks of the Ordo Xenos. Inquisitor tracks operated out of here, Watchtower Antioch, with a squad of Deathwatch Marines, as well as other Deathwatch resources. "5 years ago, as this is the Imperial and things take time, there came no word from Watchtower Antioch or Inquisitor tracks. Inquisitor tracks was tracking and researching the patterns of a Eldari Corsair force operating out of the Maelstrom Zone. You know that he had tracked it to its final location and was preparing the Deathwatch Marines from Antioch Watchtower to go take him out. However, Imperial Intelligence has reached us that this Corsair group still operates in the area, and yet there is no word from Watchtower Antioch or Inquisitor tracks. Brothers, we find ourselves in a bit of a situation." He presses another button. One of the servitors moves again. This time it's a little bit jolty, a little bit rusty because it hasn't been used in such a long time, and a sort of bionic skull comes out of the very sort of pulled back skin, which has been tightened around its face, and this eyeball kind of comes out of its socket attached to a long tube, and another kind of holographic display appears. And it shows the forces of the various Space Marine chapters in the Badab Civil War. I'm not going to go into all of them. If you're watching this, go look at yourself. There's the thing called the internet. It's fine. Though ironically, none of the chapters that our players are in are involved in this campaign.
That you know of.
That we
Secrets.
know of. Secrets. Watchtower Antioch is on the other side of the campaign front. It is within, as we will describe at this point, rebel-held territory. Now, we are quite limited with the amount of resources here, which is why I've asked an ally of the Deathwatch here. This is Lord Captain Hess, rogue trader. He has access to certain spaceways, navigational buoys, and contacts that will get you through not only our own lines, but across the border, so you may speak with the rebels directly to gain access to Antioch. There are way too many enemy forces in there at this time. Your objective is twofold. Firstly, get to Watchtower Antioch. Find what information you can about these Eldari Corsairs, access the Inquisitor's records, and use it to destroy and hunt the Xenos most virulently and execute the Emperor's will and destroy them. Your secondary objective, if possible, is find Inquisitor tracks. I've been informed by the Ordo Xenos that the information that he has is and his knowledge of the Eldari is quite an important resource. He is well versed in this heretical Xenos way. Why they want that, I don't know, but this is the word that's come down. Go to Antioch, find out the information about the Corsairs, and destroy them. Find Inquisitor tracks. Will be carried forth by Lord Captain Hess. Aboard his cruiser called the Emperor's Light. His rogue trader credentials will be able to get you through the border and across into enemy territory. You shouldn't have so much problems getting through our own lines. Once there, your intelligence reports have shown that in a few days' time, there will be a large gathering of high officials at the sector of the Imperial Noble Sector Lord's personal residence. He is holding what they call a ball or a party or something. Simply put, brothers, you're going to a party. Find this sector lord. Find our brothers in the rebel chapter. Tell them that of our duties at the Deathwatch, and that we are here to destroy the Xenos threat. Their rebellion has nothing to do with us. Who's in the right and who's in the wrong, I don't care. Our job is to execute the alien and any external threats that may pose. This is our first duty, and at this point, those chapters have their eyes turned to civil affairs. Seek them out and then gain clear and easy passage to Antioch, and then go from there. Are we clear, brothers?
Yes, Brother Sergeant.
Absolutely clear, Brother Sergeant.
Brother Sergeant,
Finally,
question,
some action.
if I may.
Yes,
What
brother.
if the heretical brothers choose not to allow us access?
Then you'll have to find other means.
Understood.
But
Brother
you'll be
Sergeant.
doing it alone. We do not have the resources to support you. All you'll have is the resources of the Emperor's Light, and whatever you might be able to find at Antioch if you do get there.
The God Emperor will guide us.
Indeed. I am assured by Imperial intelligence and our own inquisitorial contacts within the Ordo Hereticus that our brothers in the rebel forces, though misguided, are still faithful servants of the Emperor, and they will recognize your role and your duty as Deathwatch Marines.
Understood, Brother Sergeant.
Well
Any
then,
questions?
only where is the ship and when can we leave?
Captain Hess steps forward and goes, "Well, my ship is at your disposal, my lords. And we're ready to leave whenever you are. We're docked alongside the station."
Azazel
Well,
kind of
Ferris,
I just turn around and walk out.
Azazel looks to the hologram thing and asks the servitors to do him a copy of all the stuff we've just seen. He's going to study it en route because he's looking at potential alternatives if we can't gain access normally to Antioch.
So there's a lot of info there, and this little servo skull data it's a portable data bank, but it's also a floating servitor skull.
That's fine. It's Imperial. That's what I expect.
Lifts up. It's got a sort of half a silver spinal cord hanging from it. The skull itself is bone white and brown, and it has a small bionic eye. How it stays afloat, you do not know. but it's been downloaded too, and it's basically a almost portable hard drive.
Excellent. I'll have it follow me.
Raziel claps Azazel on his shoulder. My brother, we have something serious to discuss before we depart.
He's obviously helmeted. You can't see his face, but you think he's raising an eyebrow behind his helmet. He's not used to people touching him.
You'll get over it, brother. We have to talk about Ferris. He's far too chatty for a space marine. Sort that out, would you?
Indeed, brother. And Azazel is actively a little, even though he's like studious space marine, got a good level of intelligence, is slightly perplexed by this engagement because, of course, he doesn't expect this kind of behavior from a space marine. Certainly not from any chapter he's ever been with. As a Dark Angel, they don't talk much. Yes, brother. Talking is good for squad cohesion, I guess. And he kind of like dips his shoulder, so your hand comes off of his shoulder and then carries on walking after Ferris, realizing that Ferris is probably better company.
Raziel is smiling broadly under his helmet, thinking to himself, I've got to get these two into combat. They're not going to have any fun any other way.
Now, just before we set off on our adventure, for your reference, Dan, paranoia, my talent, also means that I'm alert to hidden dangers. So you can make me roll a perception roll if you've got something hidden for me to spot it
handy to know.
Yeah. So you can choose when
choose
when that gets operated, but basically you can test my perception to see if I notice hidden threats. It also gives me a +2 initiative when we go into combat. And I also have air of authority, which is going to be coming really handy when we go and speak to these other people.
That's a fact.
But otherwise, yes, Azazel makes his way to Ferris, sort of catches up to Ferris and kind of looks over his shoulder to make sure the Blood Angel's kind of following, but not following like maybe too closely.
Now, Raziel's right behind you, and here every step he takes, his armor sort of groans, but when it groans, it almost sounds like it's growling or howling.
You sure
what
you're
armor
Space
are you
Wolf?
wearing?
So Azazel's power armor history is terror be thy friend. So his armor kind of shrieks and growls, and you're not really sure if it's just because it's old but it's a little creepy. It makes him smile.
It's probably one of the sets worn when someone, drank one of the Space Wolves in the Heresy. I mean, not that would have ever happened, because that would be heretical.
Yeah. Not that we ever knew about such things. Okay, so you walk down these stone and metal corridors, bare, like tubes and exhaust pipes and circuitry is hanging from the ceiling. Occasionally, there's the occasional spark of electricity running through it. The lights, the green sort of ambient light flashes a little bit now and again. As you head to kind of the docking ring, you can see the Emperor's Light kind of through a large stained glass plexiglass window looking down to the ships below. There's a couple of other ships there. The Emperor's Light is a cruiser, which is not massive by Imperial standards, but it's still got a crew of thousands on it. What makes it quite unique is that so it's kind of got that trireme shape to it, like those old Greek and classical Roman ships, but the front of it, where you would get that kind of sharp curve and then battering ram, instead you've got the Imperial Aquila and two massive golden wings kind of going back, and then following it your standard sort of gun ports and battle cannons and that neo-Gothic architecture of an Imperial cruiser with its almost kind of church-like battlements. So it's quite, in Imperial terms, it's quite grand looking.
Fairly grand for a rogue trader.
Very grand for a rogue trader.
Might go some way to explaining why he's fairly comfortable in Space Marine presence.
So he nods, Captain Hess nods and goes, my lords, please welcome aboard the Emperor's Light. My home is your home, and if you need anything from myself or the ship's crew, you are welcome. You're also welcome to come and dine with myself and the ship's officers if you so wish, or you can keep yourself to your quarters. But we hold regular banquets, and it would be wonderful if you could attend as our guests to one of our banquets.
I require an area to train.
Okay. We have cleared out what was a ammo storage area, so it's almost its own heavily sealed area. So it's designed to kind of, if it got hit by a round or there was an internal explosion, it wouldn't spread. So we've taken out all the ammo, moved it around. It's several decks. We've set up some basic living quarters in there. You've got some crew runners if you need them, but you've got run of the whole area, and there's only one door in and out of that part of the ship, if that helps.
Sounds most accommodating, Lord Captain Hess, and I would be happy to attend one of your banquets.
Ah, thank you, my lord. You are most gracious. We set sail soon. As I understand it, it'll take us. We'll transition into the warp. My navigator has assured me that the perils of the warp are little, and we have a calm journey ahead of us. So, if anyone wants to come to dinner tonight, they are more than welcome to attend a banquet in their honor, if you so wish. And he kind of leaves you to a servitor to kind of show you the way.
Is there a nearby computer?
There's plenty as a spaceship.
Okay, I'm basically going to remove my gauntlet and then plug my finger into the computer and download a map of the ship.
Yeah, that's fine. It won't require a roll.
Revealing my bionic hand. An exceptional bionic hand.
Exceptional bionic
I'm surprised
hand.
it just isn't out there anyway. I'm surprised you're even bothered to wear armor over it.
Oh, I put a lot of effort into that.
So almost Robocop style. You access the ship's terminal. The machine spirit is most accommodating. The terminal itself has kind of like got that old-fashioned, used future look with the green screen and the darker green writing, and it kind of comes up with typing noises on it as you click through, and images change almost like a slide other than any sort of fluid graphics. And you download these this map of the ship. It's a cruiser. It certainly has what we shall call a rogue trader's flair to it. So there are certainly elements of the ship that aren't Imperial standard. And there's definitely some implemented Xenos technologies in here as well.
What?
Gonna try and hide his disapproval.
Well, unless you told us to, we won't know. So.
No, I mean he's wearing a helmet, so you wouldn't see his facial expression anyway. But our quarters are this way, and I'll just walk off, leaving the servitor behind because I'm quicker than the
Okay.
servitor.
Yeah, probably.
I will follow
It's,
the Iron Hand. Try not to
Raziel's walking behind too, and he speaks up. So, Brother Ferris, how'd you lose your hand?
Ferris will just speak very factually. It is
Excuse me,
part of our
sorry.
chapter initiation.
Cut off your old hand then, did you?
Yes. As you can tell, Ferris is a
I am
talker.
quite literally speechless at this, brother, but
Raziel, have you never met the Iron Hand before?
I have never served with an iron hand before. No, this is true.
I would say that you are not literally speechless in that you just made speech.
And I was the one who didn't think you would ever throw a joke my direction.
Kind of give a kind of quizzical look in the direction of the Dark Angel of what's a joke and just keep walking.
Raziel, their chapter motto, the flesh is weak. They regularly remove body parts and replace them with technology. Furthermore, they're a very literal chapter.
Raziel throws an elbow into Azazel. He goes, I know, I just like Raz and the Iron Hands because they never get it.
And you actually get like a deep hey, and then Azazel realizes he's actually partially enjoyed your humor and then goes carries on walking.
Brilliant, I love it.
And kind of straightens himself back out because he's a dark angel. He's not supposed to enjoy anything, but he kind of enjoyed that comment. And then kind of moves on.
This is why we love the Deathwatch, because you have these unique experiences of working with others from outside your chapter.
Well, as a dark angel, he's fairly used to dealing with previously space wolves. They get together regularly and hold the weird tournament that they hold in honor of the old duel between the Lion and Lehman Russ. So he's kind of dealt with the bullshit. He's not used to it from a blood angel, so that's for certain. They're more vampiric in their usual standards. No, I'm just joking. But the blood angels are generally more serious. So he's used to it from a space wolf, not from a blood angel.
Yeah. So background for those people watching. When I rolled my demeanor, I rolled gregarious, so I decided to play hard into it. So backstory, I'm thinking that he has spent a lot of time with space wolves himself. They've kind of rubbed off on him.
Hey, why has he spent so long with space wolves?
I think he's been in the Deathwatch for a while, and his last most of the last squad he was in were made up of space wolves. I think
that's really cool.
Probably half the squad was space wolves.
That'd be a good mix. Right, okay, so you have stowed your gear away, squared away your pods.
No, we've probably got like a really special layout with our guns there and oils being stowed. Stow a holy bolt gun.
Oh yeah,
outrageous.
I mean, Ferris will be immediately performing maintenance rituals on everything he has.
So let's rephrase that then. Okay, so cloth is laid down upon the table. Incense burners are lit. Litanies to the machine spirit are mumbled softly as guns are laid out and stripped in the most holy of rituals. As you clean each piece because this is 40k, you actually kind of know what this thing and this thing does.
Oh, I do.
But more in the sense of you are kind of going through the old art and
appeasing the
literal ritual. Yeah, appeasing the machine spirit. Candles are placed upon the table. And holy kind of silk spreads are laid over some of the guns so they don't gather dust.
Beautiful. Much better.
Stowed. This isn't God. Right. Who's going to the banquet?
Raziel will go to the banquet.
Raziel, go to the bank.
Yeah, unless I'm ordered to, I'm not doing it.
You're all the same rank. No one's going to order anyone, I don't think.
What do you mean? I wanted to be a sergeant.
I think we have to choose squad leader.
I think it's got to be
Space Marines
Azazel.
would always have a chain of command, and yeah, it probably would be Azazel.
I mean, my fellowship is 54, so certainly is.
I don't know. You want surely
Well,
such an inspiring chap like Ferris in charge.
Please
Well, that's
go
a decision
attack.
Uh,
for you guys.
You attack there. You attack there. Let's kill them all.
Come,
No,
Azazel. Will you be going to the banquet? Watch the
No.
little humans break bread with us.
no, the small humans, they're always over extravagant with these things. No, I will stop and
True.
study these plans. I wish to know more of Antioch's location and potential routes of attack if we need to get in. We are only a small team, so we need to act swiftly, but also without notice.
I go to see if we can sniff out any possible taint amongst the Lord Captain's crew. Perhaps there are those who would be working at cross purpose to us.
Indeed. Keep your communicator. If you notice any heretics, mutants, but more importantly, Xenos, notify us immediately.
There are Xenos upgrades on this vessel.
So, what?
I will list them by Sector 4, Level 3, Deck 12, upgrade, unknown. Section 4, Deck 13, upgrade, unknown.
There is Xenos
I like
technology.
that. Good shout.
I will literally just kind of plug into a nearby computer and bring up the schematic.
Maybe I will join you at this feast.
Excellent. And
He
I
doesn't
don't
take
just say that. I don't just say that because my fellowship is crap and I have no social skills. But
He doesn't take his bolt gun with him, but he does holster his hand flamer, and he puts his ceremonial blade back on. Stands up. Perhaps we should ask the captain some questions.
Okay.
If you need me, I will be here.
Right, so
Already stripping down the heavy bolter.
So that's what Ferris is doing. He's stripping down his heavy bolter.
And armor, everything. He's literally cleaning every single inch of his war gear.
Okay. So Azazel, sorry. Is that Azazel? Yes.
Azazel, yeah.
And Raziel.
Make it easy for you with the names.
Make their way through the ship. Again, you have that gun, grey, neo-Gothic architecture of imperial architecture. Everything, beams, large doors, gargoyles. Everything's somber and dark. Every member of the crew that you pass looks like they want to be somewhere else in your presence and quickly scurry along. These mortals look at you with awe in their eyes as you pass. So clearly they are not used to seeing Marines. You make your way to a banquet hall. As you enter, the Lord Captain, is sitting at the head of a long table. Along the table and around the table, let's describe the room first. So it's a white marble floor with kind of gold, kind of thin tree branches kind of going along and around the white marble floor. It's a circular room with kind of white Roman-esque columns and regal purple curtains kind of going between each pillar, and you can see through glass the storms of the warp because you have now transitioned into warp space. Occasionally you see the fizz and spark of the Gellerfield around the ship, rebuffing and rebounding whatever spatial anomaly / demon might be trying to gain access to the minds, the mere mortal minds of this crew. Sitting at the head of the table in his most regal formal wear is Lord Captain Hess. And again, I will ask for scrutiny rolls from yourselves, gentlemen.
Hey! 3.2 degrees of success.
And no.
Okay. So the reason I bring it up is that there is an elderly lady in a beautiful kind of ball gown sitting next to him, older woman, probably his mother. And what kind of makes you think is that these two definitely share a genetic resemblance to the picture you saw earlier of the Inquisitor.
Ah, so potentially related to Inquisitor tracks.
Yeah. Also around the table are the usual sort of, I say usual, is the, the Imperial rogue traders retinue. There's the Master at Arms, a tech priest of the Mechanicus in his red robes. He's got quite an interesting. So he's got. He looks like from the original Iron Man movies. You know, that sort of the Mark II armor, just the metal silver suit, and over it he's kind of got an open red Mechanicus robe. So he just looks like this kind of one single cybernetic organism. None of that sort of tentacle stuff. He's just one sort of man of metal, with a Mechanicus robe adorned upon him. Master at Arms, I already said, with that kind of Napoleonic vibe of the hat and the guns and all that sort of thing. There's an astropath, the navigator, and all others. He's almost holding a sort of court around this table, and there's a beautiful meal in the center as well. And they all stand up when you enter and bow politely. My lords, please do join us. Take sustenance.
Azazel stomps straight to the Mechanicum. Are you aware of Xenos upgrades upon this vessel?
He looks at the Lord Captain, and Lord Captain nods, and then he goes in a sort of very raspy, robotic voice. Yes.
Suffer not the alien to live. Why is there Xenos technology upon this vessel?
The Lord Inquisitor goes, I'm sorry, that's classified.
He's not. He's a Lord Inquisitor, is he now?
Sorry, Lord Inquisitor.
I was going to say, has he been promoted?
The rogue traders, I'm terribly sorry, that's classified.
Okay. I didn't want to have to do this early on, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to use air of superiority, and I'm going to do a command roll and see if I can't make him tell me what's going on.
Oh, I'll do it.
I have succeeded. So he has now. So basically, the way it works.
I need to make a willpower roll.
I've done it. So I've done 1.5 degrees success. So I did a command roll, which is what was required at -10. He is now. He's now got to tell me. So basically, aerophody on an successful command, it affects a number of number of people around me, equal to 1d10 plus 5. I can also command those who are not under my authority at -10. So I'm going to command him to tell me, why are there Xenos technology upgrades upon this vessel? And I have successfully made the roll. So,
okay, so you've definitely shaken him, because he takes a pause. He tries to hide that pause by picking up a golden jewel encrusted goblet, kind of taking a sip. There's a very slight tremor to his hand as he drinks it and puts it down. He tries to put a cocky sort of facade on his face, but he's definitely kind of got onto him. And he says, "My lord, we regularly work with the Ordo Xenos. These were their upgrades."
You can see, like, there's no sort of response. He's still in his armored helmet because Azazel never takes off his helmet. It's just the glowing red eyes peering deep into the. Since when has the Imperium sanctioned the use of Xenos technology?
At this point, the rogue trader nervously laughs. All the time.
Azazel's seriously considering burning everybody in the room as a heretic. But he considers that he has been given a mission and an order, and this burning this ship's crew.
Ship fly without his captain.
I mean, the ship could fly without its captain. It's true. I don't think. Oh, I mean, part of me thinks because like Azazel was like straight, like hates the Xenos. That's why he's in the Deathwatch, because he proved particularly adept in the Dark Angels at hunting Xenos. So he takes real offense, and he knows that like sometimes Inquisitors dabble with Xenos technology, and even he hates that, but they're Inquisitors, so he can't really do anything about that. But this is some rogue captain with his ship with Xenos technology on it, and he's not happy about it. So he's contemplating burning this guy alive at the moment. So he doesn't move. He's just standing there staring at this captain while he does this weird fake laughter. He just doesn't say anything, just continues to stare and tries to make the rest of the room feel rather uncomfortable.
Raziel moves around Zazel's shoulder, and he's like, "Lord Captain, between you and me, I think it would probably behoove you to let my brother Azazel here know, perhaps in private, which Inquisitors of the Ordos Xenos sanctioned these upgrades, and perhaps show him some sort of order. Otherwise, I'm beginning to think that he may burn you alive."
My brother speaks the truth. If these
See,
have been
what did I
sanctioned,
tell you?
I wish to see the sanction.
Raziel pops off his helmet and sits down doesn't really sit down, but leans over to grab a glass of red wine. He's like, "This is going to get interesting."
The older woman who was sitting next to her son stands up. Where she seems to be enjoying herself immensely, where everyone else is nervous as hell. She's having a great time. Takes a sip of her drink and goes, "My lord, my son is clearly a heretic, and you should kill him now. I will take command of the ship, as it was once mine. I'm happy to take again our rogue trader Emperor's Writ once more, and sail in the name of the Emperor."
Azazel looks to her and goes, "Would you remove the Xenos upgrades from this vessel?"
Alas, these Xenos upgrades come from my grandfather directly, who is an Inquisitor of the Ordo Xenos. Inquisitor Trax.
You hear a click as the holster comes undone. And the flamer comes out. Xenos technology is not accepted in the Imperium unless you can show me the writs that says it can be installed upon this vessel by an Inquisitor. You will burn as a heretic.
The rogue trader leans forward and says, "Of course I can show you a writ from my great-grandfather. Perhaps first you'd like to have something to eat, though."
No. I will await.
Certainly.
Go now.
He makes a gesture. He doesn't go. He's the captain. He doesn't leave his table. He makes a gesture for someone else to go get it.
The flame has stayed trained on him until he's gonna see the stamped inquisitorial paperwork that says they can have Xenos technology aboard this vessel. So he's
Raziel
literally
is
just standing there with a flamer.
and Raziel is picking at some of the food. He's like, "This is Lord Captain. You set an excellent table, by the way."
Oh, thank you, my lord. Yes, we do try. This is
And the theater here is fantastic as well.
don't worry, it's not our what's the old classical low Gothic saying? It is not our first rodeo with the Deathwatch, and it is not the first time a Deathwatch Marine has threatened me for having Xenos technology aboard my ship.
I'd
That is
hope
even
not, or
more
we'd be
concerning.
falling down.
So in comes the astropath, and he hands you a very long scroll. Looks old, ancient, in fact. The inquisitorial seal is upon it, and there's a combination of wax and holographic display. It's encased in glass.
Excellent. Engaging my studious demeanor, I will now read through it all and see that all components on the list of this document meet with all the ones that the Iron Hands told me about. And if there is any discrepancy, he's going to die.
I need a Forbidden Law roll Xenos, please.
Oh, yeah. 3.6 degrees of success.
That's nice.
It's a very successful. I am studious as well. So this is what I do. I read things and I learn.
It's going to take you a while. So
yeah, they let them carry on their meal.
They continue to have, this party, and they, talk to Raziel, and the rogue trader captain kind of sips on his wine politely. There's a bit of chit chat, though pretty much everyone in the room is feeling very uncomfortable as you've got this kind of large glass case, like very much how, like the Declaration of Independence kind of thing, big, large case, old ancient scroll with markings and all that sort of stuff, and you're holding it like that while you've got a flame pistol still pointed at the captain. And you're kind of going, yes, I like what you've done here. Yes.
I'm enjoying the calligraphy and whatnot.
Beautiful calligraphy. Iconicized. When you've got those sort of memorial pictures of angels, the
illuminated
beautiful,
text. That's what I was looking for. Yeah. May he who illuminated this illuminate me, kind of thing. Yes, and as far as you can tell, from what the Iron Hand.
Iron Warriors back down to the bay. We gotta
go. Told you everything listed here is inquisitorial. Has been approved, but there is some definite dodgy stuff here. Like it has some sort of unknown Xenos technology applied to the injection manifold of the plasma drive to the main engines, which means the ship goes faster. There is Eldari Wraithbone infused to part of the ship, so it doesn't take as much of a hit. There are the astropath chamber has an alien device in it, which means it enhances his power to be able to transmit the Emperor's word. There is not just there's pre-heresy technology in here as well, of the Mechanicus, which is in the Navigator's Chorus like facilities. It's all sorts. The ammunition, some of the ammunition is Xenos. Yeah.
Hand it back to the.
It's flying here. It's flying heresy.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is
yeah,
literally flying heresy.
So he hands back the document back to the astropath and holsters his flamer. All upgrades seem to be in order. However, know this, rogue trader. You have abused your relationship with your grandfather as an Inquisitor. I will be reporting this as highest heresy upon the completion of this mission, and it will do me the greatest pleasure to enact the justice of the Emperor when the writ comes down that you are a heretic. He holsters it and leaves the room.
He watching you leave, he leans back in his chair with a kind of cocky vibe to him because he kind of feels like he's kind of won. And he just simply raises a glass and says, "Jolly good." They're so smugly. And you can see his mother kind of going, "Just fucking kill him."
Raziel,
Clearly, there's some sort of history there.
Raziel looks down at him and he goes, "You do realize that if you keep pushing him, he'll just kill you. And nobody is going to waste a Space Marine's life on the life of a rogue trader captain, particularly when your mother is sitting right here. So I'd be less smug in the future." And then he'll turn and follow his battle brother out.
Well, that went really well. That was brilliant. I loved it. Okay, so you guys head back down to your almost internal garrison that's been built for you within this large ammunition hall. There are a couple of levels for training. There's a sparring pit. There's places to take apart your weapons. There's cots if needed. All sorts. So you've got 3 days of warp travel. Is there anything you wish to do during that period of time?
Well, Raziel, as soon as they get back from the banquet, would go right over to Ferris while he is continuing to, properly anoint his gear and be like, "Ferris, I think you should speak with Azazel. He was deeply upset by the banquet, and he needs your counsel. I have no doubt that you and you alone can bring him the peace of mind that he needs." And then Raziel turned away.
Again, Ferris's facial expression will not alter, but he'll give a slight nod. He's probably out of his armor at that point, and you would see that his entire right arm is in fact bionic. Exceptional, you could say that arm.
Exceptionally bionic.
It's an exceptional quality bionic arm.
Wow.
Ferris, do your battle brothers within your chapter ever call you Ferris Silverarm?
No.
That's a shame. I quite like the ring of it. And then Raziel will walk back to his own gear and start working on his chainsword.
In the corner, Azazel is
Pharisee.
penning penning a furious letter, as it were, and it will be declaring that this captain is a heretic and the ship is heresy and it needs to all be destroyed in the name of the Emperor because there's too much Xenos, and that the Inquisition have gone beyond their remit and have taken way too much Xenos technology, and he's going to send that back to Watch Command. And he assumes due process will follow in 10 years' time.
How you send?
If Ferris
10,000.
if Ferris sees
How are you
Azazel
sending
walk
it?
near him, he will just go, "Are you well, brother?"
This ship is heresy. It's plagued with Xenos technology.
I am aware. And that will be Ferris following Raziel's instructions.
Ferris,
I love it.
if I was to hypothetically suggest that this ship be destroyed from the inside, what would you say is the quickest way to do so?
I would suggest going to its warp drive and detonating it.
Understood. Azazel's now thinking about some other things. We're going to deploy soon. We don't need the ship again.
I would advise it is a complicated procedure. You would require my assistance.
Understood. Thank you, brother.
Didn't even look up from doing his maintenance work during that entire conversation.
Is anyone on the third day you receive well, no, actually on the second day you receive an invitation to the bridge.
Raziel would go to the bridge.
Yeah, as Azazel will attend. He will assume it's part of the mission now at this point.
Yeah, if it's mission related, I will attend.
So you head up to the bridge. Again, the bridge has that Gothic style architecture. It has more like a feel of a church inside it. Behind the captain's throne, it's more like a throne than a chair. And it's almost upon a sort of mini dais. Behind him is a large stained glass window of the Imperial Aquila. In front of him and kind of going down into the mid deck are computer banks and servitors and crewmen. So he's kind of sitting upon a raised area, and then there's another level and another level lower pit beneath that. And in front of him is a huge window showing warp space. At its side is his first officer and master at arms. Pardon me. There's the occasional Red Road Mechanicus, but mostly it's all kind of naval uniform, but in the sort of, since they're not Imperial Navy uniforms, they're kind of like the personal uniforms of the rogue trader. Here, it certainly seems a lot more professional. The crew is very well organized and very slick. There's no Xenos technology to be seen in any way. It's all definitely very Imperial. The occasional servo skull passes by. In the sort of beams and kind of metal rafters above, you can see kind of servitor cherubs moving around, kind of carrying things. Incense burns from various different areas. It's almost as if you have the sense of a holy choir singing in the background, as this place has more of a sort of church feel to it. Captain summoning here, well, he didn't summon. He asked you nicely. You don't summon Marines. You ask them nicely. And he says, we're about to transition back into real space. We will be on the loyalist side of the border. And as we understand it, we'll basically be transitioning into a large Imperial fleet. With Marines present. My rogue trader credentials do mean I can get through. However, I think given the circumstances, I need to save those for the next bit. I don't want to push my luck, so perhaps maybe you might be able to have a word.
Raziel's head looks over at Azazel. He's like, this is yours, brother.
Indeed. I will speak with the fleet once we're in range.
Okay. You transition out of warp space though, so that swirling purple, blue storm in space. With lightning and sheet lightning kind of going across, almost a tear appears, and through it you can see the stars and inky blackness of space. The Emperor's light passes through, piercing it like a knife, kind of heading in to the blackness of space. As you come out, the night sky is very quickly very busy. You are in what is unmistakably an Imperial Armada. You can see Space Marine battle barges, Imperial cruisers, Imperial battleships, cargo ships. Looks like they're getting ready to mount a big operation. This isn't the Lord, the rogue trader, the Lord Captain basically advised we're kind of going to the customs point, as it were, like, you know, but this is a huge fleet.
Judging by our knowledge as battle brothers, would this be a crusading fleet potentially about to hit a system?
Oh, I wouldn't say it's the scale of a crusading fleet, there, fleet, but it's definitely up there, and it's
Yeah, I mean, this is a massively sizable force to have that many large warships in.
I am happy for you all to make rolls of, because you're not going to know every Space Marine chapter under the sun.
Adeptus Astartes lore?
Adeptus Astartes?
Yes,
Lord?
please. Common law, Adeptus Astartes, please.
No. Minus 4.3 on that one. That rolled an 88.
That's a big no for me either. A minus 0.6.
Oh, use a fate point to get a degree of success. You might need those later, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Roger.
I'm too busy eyeing up the ships. I don't care about the chapters.
I do want to point out that I have yet to succeed at a roll, so
Well, we've been
doing
doing a lot of
good.
brain rolls.
Once we get into
That's true.
combat, you'll be fine. You've been doing brain rolls.
brain rolls are not my
It's
friend.
almost as if I did it to you on purpose. All right, okay. So yeah, there are Space Marine chapters out there. There's Astra Militarum, Imperial Guard troop carrier ships out there, Imperial naval ships carrying Astra Militarum forces. And yeah, it's definitely an invasion fleet. But to what end, you're not sure.
No, but we can find out.
There, you can see from the busy crew in front of you that red alert kind of lights are flashing everywhere, and servitors are moving with sort of robotic hastiness. And there's sounds of, calls of raised shields, we're being targeted, we're being hailed, and all this sort of thing is happening at once. The Lord Captain remains calm at the sort of center of the storm, and basically says, on grid, and this kind of monitor comes down, and the a face of because it's short range communication, it's on video, and a naval fleet captain appears on screen, and the road trader kind of says, "Right, you guys are up, my lords."
Oh there. I am Brother Azazel of the Deathwatch.
The ship's captain kind of looks and says, he's kind of like talking to someone else.
Might I have your attention, Captain?
Yes, my lord. How may we be of assistance?
No need to be of assistance. Simply allow us to pass through.
I can't do that, my lord. We are strictly not allowing traffic through at the moment. Perhaps you should be speaking to one of your fellow.
Who has command of this fleet?
That would be Lord Captain Arrhenius. That's a terrible name. I'm going to come up with another one.
No, he's Arrhenius now.
Arrhenius of the Red Scorpions.
Ooh.
Perhaps, maybe you should speak to him. At least he's part of this part of the fleet. There is an overall command, but maybe I could put you through to him.
Yes, please.
Okay. There's a short pause. There's no hold music. And then there's a very stoic-faced space marine who looks even more stoic and grim than you do, Azazel says.
Azazel gives an honoured brother captain, Lord Captain Arenas, is it?
And what can I do for the Deathwatch?
We are on a time-critical mission. We need to pass the blockade, unhindered if possible.
Where do you go?
We head to the Watchtower of Antioch.
One moment. I have no record of a Watchtower Antioch.
Nor would
I do
you.
understand. Yes, I do understand a Deathwatch operate in secrecy. You understand that there is a war going on.
Understood. You're
Between
fighting heretics.
brothers. It's complicated.
It always is. However, our
No,
mission...
wait, hold on. No, stop. He's a Red Scorpion. Yes, we are fighting heretics, and we will burn them all. Let me get on point. I do apologise.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's a
I
Red
can't remember
Scorpion.
which chapter I was talking about.
Yeah, he's a Red Scorpion. Even the minorest amount of heresy. That's probably
should
why...
have gone with another chapter.
The
salamanders there. I should have done salamanders. Never mind. Yes, he's a Red Scorpion.
Yeah,
he's a Red Scorpion. Yes, we fight heretics and we will purge them all.
And as much as I would take pleasure in joining your goal, Captain, unfortunately our mission takes precedence. There is a Xenos threat in the area that we must deal with. We also have a missing Inquisitor. Also must take priority for us, unfortunately.
Such are the mysteries of the Inquisition.
Indeed.
I do not understand them, and I would not. Please transmit your codes, and I will give you leave.
And I go over to the communications thing and I point to Ferris. And Ferris, enter the Deathwatch communication codes.
I just plug my finger in and enter the codes.
Yeah, we're not using
which you... No, you're definitely using Inquisitor's ones. So this series of code kind of goes across, and the captain's clearly looking at something else, and he goes, honor to your chapters, brothers. Good luck in your mission. I would offer our assistance, but we have other heretics to kill.
Understood.
However, if this is a threat to the ongoing campaign here, our chapter masters would very much like to know of it.
Understood. Transmitting intel that we can transmit, and I have Ferris transmit the stuff on the Eldar Corsairs that we know about so far, because without the Inquisitor we don't have that much knowledge. But
okay. I'm transmitting my own codes. You have clearance to head towards Antioch.
We are grateful for your help.
Not so fast. Our forces will not attack you if you go straight there. However, I cannot make assurances for our enemy, and I cannot make assurance for some of the more zealot chapters of our crusade. Minotaurs.
Are the Black Templars here?
No, they're not.
Oh, thank God.
I think they're tame by comparison to some of the ones that are.
They are.
Yeah. I was going to say, is it the Carcharodons are here as well?
Yeah, the Carcharodons
are here. Exorcists are here.
Oh God! I forgot about
it. And the Minotaurs are here as well.
About the Inquisition. So.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well.
And there's a couple of others there that it's not going to win well for the enemy.
But now remind me.
Claws, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say the enemy at this point is Astral Claws, isn't it?
Astral Claws, Executioners, Lamenters, Mantis Warriors, and then the Tyrant Legion, which is basically a great big force of Imperial Guard.
Yes, that's right.
But the astral claws have a larger than allowed chapter, so they have quite a considerable amount of Marines. Well, that's how the stories go.
I thank you for the advice, Lord Captain.
So yes, heed my warning. I cannot confirm or reassure of our enemies, and there are certain elements within our own forces who may attack you if you're outside of the areas that we have confirmed you to travel in.
Understood.
Thank you. And he deactivates the comm.
You may proceed, Captain.
Thank you, my lord. You transition back into the warp. The rogue captain goes, I can literally get us to the front door of where we need to be. It's a hive world by the name of Tyrant's Prime. There resides the Sector Lord. He is the one who was kind of having this ball. And we know from what the watch sergeant told me that there will be a Marine presence there.
I think we'd also be wise to consider Lord Captain Aranus's concerns. How close can you get us to Antioch?
To Antioch? And
more importantly, how well can you conceal our presence in the system?
Well, that's the other thing. So I can get us straight to Antioch if you so desire, my lord. However, we're in the middle of a war zone, and every ship is being scanned and boarded. And my rogue trader credentials are only going to go so far. I've heard of other rogue captains being boarded by other chapters, both of the executioners and lamenters, and whole crews being executed, which is a bit off you, Raziel, because the lamenters are a blood angel.
Second founding of the Blood Angels.
Second founding Blood Angels chapter.
They're also known for being very unlucky.
Yes.
They are known as the unlucky chapter of the 40k universe.
Yes, my brother lamenters, they never did end up on the right side, apparently, but I'm sure, Lord Captain, that, well, why don't you just try to fly casual and get us there?
You want me to head straight to Antioch, my lord?
Can we send any sort of communication ahead to this Sector Lord to inform him of our presence, at least?
My astropath can certainly do that.
Please do so and inform him that you are on the service of the Deathwatch on mission, and they're not to impede us. I'd rather not get involved in this war if we don't have to.
Yes, my lord.
You sense a tinge of a lie behind that? Nothing would give Azazel more pleasure than to bash some heretics on the head. But he is, of course, first and foremost on mission. So, and it's no good being dead if everyone starts attacking us. So yeah, that's Azazel's plan. And I know he didn't really consult his other Marines on this.
Raziel is 100% behind it. He thinks it's a damn fine plan.
Okay, another day passes, and you're asked back up. Well, you're asked to the kind of personal council chambers of the Lord Captain, which again is more like a throne room than a meeting room. And he's sitting upon his throne, and again his kind of retinue are around. And he says, "My lords, we have received word back from the astral clause requesting that we head to Tyrant's Prime.
This is
And what is there?
Tyrant's Prime is the hive world of the Sector Lord. But as we have been summoned there, we are told not to proceed to Antioch until further conversations have been had. He's reading it out. Till further conversations have been had with our brothers in the Deathwatch. Signed.
So
I
I
can't pronounce his name. Rog, what's his name?
Dufron,
the Astral Clause chapter leader.
Horan.
Huron, Luft Huron at
Huron.
this point.
Yeah, Lift Horn. Yeah, he's not.
He's not Huron Blackheart.
Left Huron. Signed Left Horn. Chapter master of the Astral Clause.
I'm guessing. We probably would know chapter master names of.
Yeah.
fairly-
So you know this guy's the head of the rebellion.
And given that I've been spending the last 3-4 days pouring through the intelligence, if we drop on Antioch, just the three of us, and our ship basically buggers off, and more importantly, draws attention away from us making the drop, are we going to need to leave planet again? Or do we not really know about that?
You don't know, because you don't know where the information that you're going to find in there, where it will lead to these Eldar Corsairs. Also, that system itself is also a war zone.
We're Space Marines. We're not caring. We don't care if it's a war zone.
I mean, I'd be surprised if it wasn't, frankly.
Yeah. It's okay. Everywhere's a war zone.
Yeah, that's the grim darkness.
I mean,
it's
especially where Marines are.
It's more the point that Azazel doesn't feel entirely comfortable being summoned by a chapter master of the leader of the rebellion, which it's not a place for free Deathwatch Marines to be, especially loyalist Deathwatch Marines.
Well,
first chapter.
I knew Roger was going to make a Dark Angel joke at some point, and there it was. Yeah, and also, like, again, I don't want Azazel's need to hunt down followers of chaos because he's a Dark Angel to overtake his mind. So for me, for Azazel, he kind of wants to avoid that and just stay on mission. But he's looking at the Lord Captain at the moment because he's trying to read the Lord Captain, whether the Lord Captain looks nervous at the response.
He's not nervous, but he's certainly worried. He's worried. He's genuinely worried.
I mean, I'm sure the ship isn't equipped with a drop pod, so we can't just slam out of the ship and into Antioch.
No, and yeah, we have small lander craft. We don't have drop ships or Thunderhawks or anything like that. And frankly, I can't take on a Space Marine battle barge.
If this ship is shot out beneath us, if this ship is shot out from beneath us, our mission fails.
Watchtower Antioch, I've been there. It has efficient ground to space defense batteries and shields, but that's if it's being manned. I can easily get us there, and I think I can avoid rebel complications and entanglements. But if we're caught and we were asked to invite as
diplomatic messages are notoriously unreliable, we could simply claim we had not received it.
This is a Astartes business, my lords. I'll go where you tell me to.
I propose this as a plan. We drop to the surface. Ferris will engage the batteries at the watchtower. Hopefully, we don't need them. We will obtain the information we need, and ideally be out of there and back aboard your vessel before anyone notices. However, if you are challenged in system by a battle barge, you are to leave immediately. we will make our own way from there and hopefully make contact with you when we need you again.
Yes, my lord.
Azazel, my brother, I gotta say, I love this plan.
Good.
I'm happy to be a part of it. My lord, I've done a little bit of checking myself. That is a very busy system. It's got 3 solar bodies, 3 suns, and 1 proto-sun. There are a lot of planets and dozen more moons. There's a asteroid belt going through it as well. There are many high world mining colonies, agricultural worlds. It's a very, very busy system, but it also gives me plenty of places to hide.
Understood.
And interestingly, one of that said Xenos bits of technology does make it harder for people to find us. He smiles.
You and I will discuss again one day your use of Xenos technology, but it is not this day. And he see him tapping into, because all the Deathwatch have those little things on their wrist.
Yeah.
I've activated a beacon. When I activate it, it will type beam to your ship and you'll know to come and get us. Stay out of trouble until then.
Yes, my lord.
Brothers, equip yourself. We make landfall.
Finally.
I just stomp off towards the place to disembark.
Yep. Because also, I feel like, again, the information-wise, based on everything we had from the Sergeant, obviously he's going to be, as you say, the Imperium is so slow with its intelligence and stuff. He said this was like a mild, little rebellion, and it's just, somebody's got something wrong, and it's going to be sorted out. And then we turned up, and there was a full crusading fleet, essentially, not quite as big as a full crusade fleet, but there was a big fleet of a lot of Space Marine chapters. This isn't just a rebellion,
No,
or at least
not.
not a misunderstanding. So Azazel's made the assessment that we don't want the Deathwatch being involved, at least trying to keep us out of the
in the
involvement.
politics of the area.
Yeah, in the politics of the. Yeah.
Here's a question: can anyone fly?
I have. Oh no, I can only fly ground vehicles.
No.
I am excellent with my jetpack, and that is all.
Yeah, but you got high agility, right? And that's what piloting's based on.
Oh yeah. Now my agility rocks, but
I mean, surely he could spare a servitor or something.
Yeah, surely he's got light
Yes,
craft
I have
pilots.
so I have an Arvis lighter that you can take with pilot.
Thank you. Make sure he's one of your best pilots.
Yes, my lord. I will give you my personal pilot. My personal shuttle pilot.
Excellent. And then Azazel heads towards the thing and gets geared up, ready to roll. Cock, lock, and ready to rock. Oh, and for my team, as I'm currently squad leader, we have a total cohesion of 9. So so we got a lot of squad cohesion points to use for squad modes and stuff. So if it comes to it,
nice.
A lot of furious typing going on there.
I was gonna say, I feel like he's doing this for suspense,
It's remove all
No,
squad
I'm just saying, someone get Pete, because I'm not gonna do the drop this session. We'll do it for next time. So I think it's probably a good place to start wrapping it up for.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys get your gear, oaths of the moment are sworn, incense is lit, litanies, the God Emperor and your primarchs spoken. You are anointed with holy oils, and your blessed armor is laid upon you. You arm yourselves with relics of the Imperium, and with duty at heart and wrath in your spirit, you begin your march down to the hangar bay. It's a large hangar bay, such it is in 40K. There are various different shuttlecrafts waiting there. Yours is an Arvis lighter, which is basically a small It's basically a box with wings. Really, it's what's
Think
the
of it as a transit,
It's a
but
box.
spaceship.
It's a transit van that flies. Yes,
Yeah,
that's a very
it's a
apt
transit van
description.
that flies. It's a Volkswagen transit van. Waiting by it is a ship's pilot in his flight uniform, oxygen mask, helmet. Mask is kind of hanging down for him. He's kind of got that World War II vibe to him. He's got a bomber jacket on with sort of like fake fur trim to it. A couple of veterans patches on his arm. He clearly served in the Imperial Navy in another life. He's got an eye patch on one eye. He's smoking a cigar, a glow stick. No, cigar, and he's kind of chewing on it a bit. And he kneels when you guys arrive. He takes a knee, and he basically goes, "Your servant, my lords."
Azazel gives him the old Aquila and says, "Stand. Today you're our pilot. Think of yourself as almost an honorary battle brother. Get to the helm."
Thank you, my lord.
He's basically trying to G him up because this guy's about to fly.
He feels cheered up. He feels like fucking Space Marine just told me I was almost a battle brother. That's fucking amazing. So yeah, he's well geared up, and he's ready to go. So he steps up into his craft. There's a small ramp. He gets into it. Taps the hanging Aquila, which is kind of hanging from a golden chain from the ceiling. Gives it a quick tap for luck. Starts powering up all the engines, speaks his litanies to the machine spirit, perhaps maybe says his own prayer to the Holy God Emperor, and begins the ship to launch. At that point, the Emperor's Light transits out of warp. The storms around your ship clear. The hangar bay door is open, and there's a shield. Energy shield between you and space. Below you, you can see Antioch. You come quite close actually. The captain's done a good bit of, the navigator has done a good bit of pilot. Normally you have to come quite far out of a system and transit into it, but he's managed to bring you quite close. And you can, even interstellar distances being a thing, you can see a very busy system around you. There are ships. You can see the occasional explosion. So there's definitely battles going on somewhere. And below you, you can see this moon, and the shuttle kind of rises up, goes through a little kind of force field bubble, and then begins its heavy, quite inclined descent. But you're Marines, you're used to this. As the vehicle shakes violently, it's like, it's no Thunderhawk.
Yeah, it's probably very tame to us.
Yeah, it's probably very tame. So we'll leave it there. Thank you very much, everybody. Let's do some quick messages and what's going on this week. Tomorrow is Thursday, so I do believe we have Lord of the Rings.
Yep, the One Ring.
The One Ring. And then we have, who else?
Aaron, is there anything going on in North America?
Oh yeah, so on in North America, over on the Adventures in Lollygaggers, friends of the channel, tomorrow night, and this will be at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So all of our friends in the UK and Europe, you will be dead asleep, but you can watch it on VOD or pick it up on YouTube for any of the following games on the Lollygaggers. But on Thursday night, they're going to be a one-shot of Goblin Quest, the Rowan Rook and Deckard game of Madcap Goblin Adventures. Then Friday night, you can catch me as the Doom Master playing some Modifius 2D20 Conan in an age undreamed of. So that should be a hoot. Then Monday, Jeff is going to be running another crazy one-shot as he transitions his Monday games. And then Tuesday, once again, I'll be in the seat running a one-shot of Teenage Mutant Dirtbags, where you get to be an anthropomorphic animal who eats garbage and kills ninjas. I mean, how could you not want to enjoy that? So
What more?
That'll
What
be
more do you want
lollygaggers.
from an evening? Absolutely.
That's basically the only
Cool.
thing I've ever wanted out of my life. So, and that'll be lollygaggers for next week.
So we have the One Ring tomorrow night. Is there a
Coriolis on
Garblag game?
Tuesday.
Yeah, is there any Garblag on Friday? No.
I don't think there's
Nope.
anything on.
Our
Friday or
editor is
Monday.
giving us a shake of his head. And then we've got Coriolis as well.
Excellent. And then back to us
So-
next Wednesday.
And then back to us next week for more Warhammer Wednesday. Glad to have you back. We're glad to be back. We've missed you all. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming to see us tonight. Don't forget to come and check us out on YouTube, and give a thumbs up there. Don't forget to come and join us on the Discord as well. If you haven't already, come join our Discord and join with all the chat and the roleplay stuff. It's fantastic. And again, thank you very much. And everybody have a lovely night. And thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Bye, guys.